Alright, now I'm going to be doing a review on the movie Back to the Future Part 3 that came out in 1990, 1 year after Back to the Future Part 2. So at the end of Back to the Future Part 2 you see to be continued, so you know that they were going to do a sequel to this. And this movie, it sort of takes place shortly after Part 2, and you see that Marty has to go back to the year 1885 to save Dr. Brown from being killed by a mad dog, to prevent him from being killed. And then mainly the movie just takes place in the 1800s, and that's mainly what the movie is focusing on. And I think this is a good way to end this trilogy. And I really enjoyed this, and not as good as Part 2 in my opinion, but I still think it's a good movie into this franchise. I wouldn't say any of the sequels are as good as Part 1, because the first Part 1 I rated a 5 out of 5, and Part 2 I rated a 4 out of 5 stars. So Part 2 I liked a little bit less than Part 1, because to me I think Part 1, Back to the Future, the first one in this franchise, was the most original out of all three of the movies, because the second one seemed to be a little bit of a repeat from the first one, using sort of the same stuff they've already used, like the whole concept of the film. But in this, I liked Part 2, how they went into the future, 2015, which is current time. I'm doing this review, and I liked how in Part 3 they went to a completely different time zone, like way back in time, and I liked how they did that. It sort of made it a little bit different. But this movie, I wouldn't say it's as good as Part 2. I just think Part 2 was just a little bit better than this movie, because I thought it had a bit more humor in it. The first two movies, especially the first one, had the most humor, where I laughed while watching the movie. But in Part 3 there were a few funny moments, and I liked the way this movie just ended and finished the movie altogether. I was entertained while watching it. I would say this movie may even be worth buying on Blu-ray or even DVD. And if you didn't like the first two Back to the Future movies, you may not like this, but if you really enjoyed the first two Back to the Future movies, you'll probably enjoy this movie. But to me, I just think it's my least favorite into the franchise, but I'll rate it the same rating I rated Back to the Future Part 2. I'll rate it a 4 out of 5 stars. But I'll give it the same rating because I think they're almost as good as each other. So, I liked how the part, where Marty shoots with a gun, and then people asked how he did it, and he said he learned how to do it. I thought that part was kind of funny as well. It's a good movie, and in 4 out of 5 stars and 8 out of 10 stars is the rating. And write down in the comments below which is your favorite in the trilogy. And I guess that's it for this review. Bye.